And we are live. Welcome back to the Duel podcast with your host Alicia Solomon and myself Megan Hines, where every week we talk the challenge on MTV, Challenge Rider Dies. And this week, um, a real one leaves by the hands of his bestie.
Okay. A real one is a stretch. I can't even go that far. But yeah, somebody's bestie in a tessie this season dropped his ass.
That's literally what was on my mind. I'm like, wait. In a sense, I feel like for him in his mind, he's a real one, and his good friend just sent him out again for like
Yeah,
the second time.
again.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna get into the crux of that in this episode. We're gonna start off with Amber coming back from last week from elimination against Maurice. And Casey was excited that her team was still intact. Devin said he wanted to reverse the tide with the game and flip the other team on their head. Amber said that the money will help set her and Chauncey up for the future. That their built-in support system has been good for them so far this season, even in this team setting. And then Bananas had a conversation with Nani about, and he also mentioned that he was kind of in a weird spot with how the teams are now. And he said he wanted to be able to set up Nani for success, even though they are on different teams right now, and they're still right dives no matter what.
I mean, it's cute, but I don't know. They should be planning their future because I just found out their age difference, and I'm not a fan. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, but they are cute. They are still cute together. It's just yeah. But we're gonna go to Nolly T calling his true Bessie, that's always gonna test you with him, Corey, and Corey's giving him advice and encouragement about getting through the season. He told Nelson um, to take out Fessy and Banana. And Nelson had to break it to Corey that I've actually been cool with him. We've been working together. And Corey's like, what? I'm shocked.
Yeah, this whole moment was what we needed Nelson to react to a couple weeks ago when Fessy had to try to come back and talk to him, and they made up and was like, okay, we have each other's back this season. Because honestly, Nelson, you should have took him out when you had the opportunity to, but you did it, and you decided to become friends, and now it's your downfall. Like that this whole like the way it played out, and Nelson was trying to play such a better game this season. Like I kept saying, Nelson just literally is following other people, or just like it's to his detriment. And this is exactly what happened, bro. Like I'm really not even like, I'm not surprised anymore. But it's just like Nelson. Like I felt like Corey was like, you hanging with the ops? Like what you want, bro? Like what's going on? It's like we all saw what happened a couple of seasons ago when that man knocked you out. Like I wouldn't even, yo, Nelson, get out of here.
Just how, like, since he's hanging with a Love Island girlie, like, Love Island is not Friend Island, the challenge is not Friends. Like, we're not watching the show Friends. This is the challenge. Like, y'all can be cool and friendly, but he never knows how to separate game from friends. And that's also his downfall as well. Like, you can forgive him, cool. Be friends, cool. By the end of the day, you have the mental capacity to be able to separate the game from personal stuff, which also some other people in this house cannot do later on in an episode. We'll get to as well. Um, but Nelson is just, he has good qualities. He just doesn't have the mental capacity to play this game correctly. He always has these good moments and he takes steps back. And it's just like, sir, what are you doing? And like you said, early in the season, he had a chance to really stick it to Fessy and get his payback. But he's like, I'm a forgiving guy. Sure, yeah. But look at where you are now. Okay, you are at the bottom total pole of your team. It's between you and Chauncey, who are next to be on the chopping block if y'all was gonna lose. Who was gonna be the one to be sent in? We shall see. But you know, it is what it is. But Corey's just like, be really friendly with our enemy now. That's crazy, bro. And he did tell him also to not forget why he was there. Which he's been saying, like Nelson's been saying this season, he is playing for his mom and giving back to her for everything that she's done for him. And that is applaudable, commendable. Just keep your head on straight. And you can do that. But no, like this is like foreshadowing. We get a lot of Nelson, good or bad. And it's looking bad for him, even in the start. So we're gonna get into the rest of it. Another conversation for a phone call. We had Jordan calling friend Sasha, who is in Ukraine, and he was highlighting how him and a couple people from a organization would go to Ukraine, help out with supplies and anything that the refugees needed to help keep people safe. We got that moment because at the time of them filming, he went to Ukraine and did that while in the midst of the war with them in Russia, and now he's here and he wanted to use the money if he won to help with that.
All right. I'm just gonna go easy. I'm just gonna be light for now. That's a great thing. Great thing that he's bringing awareness to something that's happening globally. Congratulations to him. Good on him. I'm gonna keep listening.
Okay, we're gonna go to a ride or die pair that has been fractured since we started this team thing, and Mariah and Fessy have a conversation, and he asked her for help since it's a guy's day week, to keep him out of the zone. And Fessy hoped that she would have his back with her team decisions, and I was like, and like she said, like he's not really thinking of me as a writer that he's thinking about himself as an individual, and that's not going to bode well. And she's been getting herself acquainted into the challenge life, setting on her own, playing her own game, and that's good for her. But I think she's noticing, like, hey, this man is not looking out for me, only looking out for himself.
Yeah, I feel like Mariah's just learning Fessy as she goes on the show, and it's really obvious. And again, Mariah, this week, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on up there, Mariah. Like, what's going on up here, babe? Because something else happened later on with Fessy, and I'm just like, Mariah, like, you can't be serious. But like throughout this process, you just see her learning Fessy as they go on the show together, which they're clearly not close. We've been talking about it. They're clearly not friendly as they portray themselves to be.
Yeah. Um, it's just like, oh yeah. Now I'm seeing it's like her seeing what people have been saying about him, and she's like just trying to initially see the good in him, and the table's turned, and she's been picked up to pieces, playing her own game, and really assessing how to kind of move with her friendship or whatever it is her and Fessy have. And then Devin is trying to pull up his team's morale. The other team is like, oh, that team is their morale in the gutter. They're down on the outs because they lost the first two team challenges. But Devin is like, okay, I gotta do something, make something shake because he needs to pull it together and put pressure on the team. Um, and he just wanted them to be on the same page and ball out. And right after he said, let's ball out, the song that played following that was Ballin' by Jim Jones. And the scream that I screamed when that played, I'm like, y'all cannot be serious.
Okay. So I don't know who was in charge of the music this week, but because I love Jim Jones, I was here for it. However, it's just the way that they broke from that moment of him saying that to the music. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I love Jim Jones. I'm not gonna complain. Shout out to Jim, uh, our favorite meteorologist out here in New York.
I was gonna ask this: did him and Chrissy finally get married?
Oh, bitch. Now you know. Leave that lady alone. Leave that lady alone.
And
Listen,
I'm
I want to talk about Jim and Chrissy because you see what happened first season when Maurice was talking about Jim. Okay, man got chased down in the middle of the Harlem streets. I'm cool. I don't want no beef.
I love Chrissy. I don't want to smoke with her. I would. It was just the first thing that came
Wait,
to my mind. That's it. I don't want no smoke.
but I did see Nancy and Chrissy on TikTok. Somebody's family member posted it, and they were having a good time at Christmas. This was a couple of days ago. So shout out to Jim, shout out to Chrissy, shout out to Mrs. Mama Jones. I don't want no problem.
Okay, we're gonna move into the daily challenge this week, and at when they're at the site, they see a helicopter pull up, and everybody is psyched because they know they're gonna be jumping from a plane, and this challenge is called Chopper Dropper. These names of the challenges, we need to talk. We need to talk because it's either a pun or it's some type of rhyme. One of the
I
two.
think it's I think it's a mix between a pun and them trying to be cute or whatever, and them trying to switch it up. But okay, keep it cute now. Keep it
Yeah.
cute.
Because I'm like, of all things y'all could have called this, y'all called this a chopper dropper, which explains this challenge perfectly. Because they're gonna be dropping for a chopper. I get it, but it's just it's just funny, and it's like, listen, y'all need to go back to the drawing board of some of these names. That's it. So the name of this challenge, like I said, is called Chopper Dropper, and 16 members will be hanging on a bar attached to a helicopter, flying over a lake. And as the chopper is flying over the 6 targets, 2 players must drop into a target to earn points before swimming to a platform in the middle of the lake. The smaller targets are worth more points, and the team that scores the most points or has the faster swim time will win this challenge. And because the team consisting of Fessy, Bananas, Chauncey, Olivia, Nelson, Tori, and Casey, they have 8 people. 2 of them will have to. I think I said Nisa too. 2 of them will have to be on a platform while everybody else will be on the chopper. 2 people will be on platforms and they'll be swimming the rest of the distance to the next platform. And so those 2 people who will be on that platform for that team would be Olivia and Anissa, because Olivia says she's not the best swimmer. So giving them a closer inch to the platform is best for them.
Yeah, I mean the challenge was interesting to see how they strategically were going after everyone who, but regarding abilities and who's going to swim the longest. And I mean, the first team did one thing, the second team did another thing, but it was just that nobody actually like did not drop into the point system. That was probably impressive. Out of because we've seen a lot of people mess up this whole season. So the fact that everyone was able to drop into the point system, okay, we cooking
Yes.
with something now.
Yeah. So in Heat 1, the first team went, and immediately Nelson is spinning on the bar because he jumped up there totally wrong. He's spinning and looking the other way. And I'm like, watch him be the one to drop before they even get to the targets.
Yeah, Nelson was he grabbed onto the bar the wrong way, and I'm just like, you, what's going on again, Nelson? What's going on up here? I don't understand.
I don't know what that meant. Like I don't I whenever he does something, I'm just like, oh Lord, here we go again. Because it's always something. It's always something that is not smart,
Yeah.
and I can't. So, the first two to make it the first one is Tori and Casey. They made it into the first target. Then Bananas and Fessy were next, and then in the smallest one, Nelson and Chauncey. And I was like, I'm hoping that Nelson doesn't mess this up for him and Chauncey in that last target, because if he did, he would have been getting the jokes even more. Because I was like, excuse me, sir, your life is on the line right now in this game, so pick it up. So they all made it. They got the max points, and they decided to make it to the platform. And during their swim to the platform, Olivia's body was cramping, and Fessy volunteered to help her swim to the platform. Um, Nisa made a comment about how he's evolved as a team player in this setting, because we all know how their partnership went throughout seasons, and that hasn't been great. She was like, he evolved, and he's doing being a team player. And I'm like, when she said that, the only reason he's being a team player is because he wants to win for himself. That's it.
And nothing new. There's
Yeah.
nothing new. That's how these people are.
Yep. And the last two people to make it to the platform were actually Casey and Tori, which was so funny to me.
Chill. Okay. Listen, I feel like Amber should just chop up some of these clips and just have them on rewind for when people start talking about who's a better competitor and who's not. That's all I gotta say. Because some people decided to feel like Amber, you know, they always pick on her, yet they're always lagging behind.
Ooh,
Okay.
hey, hot. Um, and Tori was like, my helmet is choking me in this water. Like, okay, all right, delicious. So they end up making it to the platform. Their time is done. And they are hype, thinking that they got this win in the bag. But let me tell you, y'all might be wrong, because the underdogs are coming and are ready to kill this challenge.
Okay, the underdog whole shtick was like, all right, it's a little joke. And then it kept going. I was just like, "Yeah, okay, y'all just gonna run with this? Cool." But they did what they needed to do. I'm not gonna hate. They really came through and performed.
Yeah, because even TJ was calling them the underdogs.
That's why I was like, okay, this is going too far. Because it's like, okay, it's one thing if Devin says it in the circle and they have little one, two, three, but it's just like now TJ is calling you that. Like, when did y'all become that?
I don't know. So, while they're being hype, getting themselves together, the other team still thought that their morale was still low, and that, yo, like, we got this, and they're defeated. But jokes on them. They had their strategy. Mariah and Nani were first to drop, and then they had Amber and Devin, and then Horacio and Jordan. Being that Mariah and Nani are not the best swimmers, they got help from Jordan to come back to help them get to the platform. They maxed out on their points, and while Jordan was helping everybody else get to the platform, and Devin as well, um, Horacio made it to the platform first, with Amber right behind him. Props to Amber for being the best swimmer on her team for the girls.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm just taking notes. Okay.
Uh-huh. And the rest of the group swam to the platform, and I just went like, they probably got this in the bag, because it didn't take them that long to get to the platform. Like, even though they swam with as a team together, Devin was still last, helping, but just helping them along. I felt like in that moment they had this in the bag. I felt like they got the better time, because they didn't struggle as much as like the first team.
Yeah, I thought once Horacio made it to the platform, I was like, okay, like at least the first person who got there faster than somebody on the other team. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like, because it kept going one by one. Like Amber came next, then the rest of them kept like coming back. So I was like, okay, it seems like they got this because everyone made it at a reasonable time. It looked like, and like even though Jordan and Devin going back, I feel like low key Horacio could have went back for somebody. Like because Horacio was zipping by himself. So he could have honestly between either Jordan or Devin, he could have went back and helped somebody. You know what I mean? But still like they all made it to there and I was just like, okay, let's see how this goes.
Yes, and they were actually both teams were 2 seconds apart. That's crazy. Like like Horacio said, I thought they had like a little bit more on the other team, but the fact that it was 2 seconds, that's cutting it hella close.
Yeah, but I also seen and okay, I just hate bringing this person up, but whatever. When Bananas had mentioned online that it didn't look like Jordan got into the target, but I feel like why would they? Well, let me not go. The theory was out there that production manipulated the underdog, and that's probably why TJ said underdog because they knew the type thing. That was the theory. Now, I'm not rolling just because they have less people, number one, and they all still beat you. Like it was clear.
It's just funny to me that the one person that's complaining about this being rigged is a person that stayed getting things rigged for him.
Listen, he only wants it done for himself. He doesn't want it done for other people.
Because we've seen we've seen instances where production blatantly rigged things for him in recent seasons, even alien season. Like one of them daggers when him and Nani ran there, planted. Sir, y'all had more people, and y'all still couldn't beat them. Just leave it at that. The underdogs won, and they will interrogate all four men on the losing squad. And immediately, Nelson is shaking in his boots because he knows he is on the chopping block. Okay. And him and Fessy have a conversation about how they don't want to see each other in elimination. Um, Basically, all is forgiven between both of them, and they've been friendly, working with each other. We know this, and they don't want history to repeat itself. And if it did, Nelson would be speechless. And whoo, he's in for a good one.
I, I just again, I don't understand Nelson and his thought process behind trying to become friends and doing his thing with Fessy. But at the end of the day, that's what he decided to stand on. Cool. Now you already know how Fessy is, so it's just like why would you even go back? That's just my whole thing. It's just like why would you even go back? It was clear as everything happened. Like he's not really your friend. Like you should have known that when he knocked your ass out in elimination.
He did not know. Like he was mad after that, yes. But this man still wants to be friends with people. I don't get it. I cannot be me. If somebody tries to knock my head off in a hall brawl because he is being selfish, I'm not forgiving them and being friends with them. That's not in me. Because you claim you're my friend. We are not friends after that. I'm sorry. That Nelson is better than me. And when people say somebody is better than me, that means I would never do that. And I cannot. I can't do that. That's not in me. I can't do that. Like if I come in the next season and I see you, I'm plotting on you. Nelson did not do that. He was like, it's all kumbaya. And sir, you're playing this game for yourself, not for other people. That's what he don't get either. Because at times. Because he said, I'm playing coming in for me and my mother. Cool. I get that. You come in this game, and this season is friendly. Very friendly. And he's like, oh, I'm friends with Fessy. Be so fucking for real. Be fucking for real. I cannot. I would not come this season. It's ride or die. I have my own ride or die built in with me. That's the only person I'm looking out for. Be like that. That's how Amber is with Chauncey, because she's public enemy to everybody else. She has her own. I, I it could
Yeah.
not be me.
I mean, we've said it time and time again. I don't even care to keep discussing Nelson and what the fuck is going on up here because I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on, but we're gonna get more into that later. Um. So they say that to each other, and then Chauncey said he believes that Banana will save him and does not trust Nelson for what happened previously in the season where Nelson threw him and Amber in. He's like, I I'm not gonna forget this. I'm not working with you. I cannot. Because we also know Nelson and Fessy will save each other at this point. And that's it, that's all. Because they are friends. Cool. Chauncey's like, I don't trust this man. I'm not putting my fate in his hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and work with Bananas. When they have that understanding, Mariah's like, okay, that's good for them because like I'm close to Bananas, but that puts her in a tough place in her eyes because Fessy has the possibility of going in instead. Then
Yeah, a lot happened. Or
yes.
maybe not much.
So we go to the operation with the winning team, and they say the tables have turned. It's nice to be on the winning side. And Jordan notices like Devin has the wheels turning in his head to really mastermind this week and have the power go to its head. And it's giving Ginger Man mixed with the Rhino Banana.
I mean, what's new? What is new? I feel like we are just watching the same shit. Like the same activities, the same personality traits, just it I have nothing.
Yeah. And he comes up with an operation called Operation Save Chauncey. And he said that even though him and Amber don't see eye to eye in the game, they're friends, I guess, but he doesn't trust her in the game. He wants to have some trust with her, but then also in the same breath, he said he wanted to exploit this trust later on in the game. I'm like, sir, if you that kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm like, you're just weird. That's weird. Like, you want to establish trust, cool. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna exploit this later on in the game for your own gain. I get it, but
I mean,
he
it,
gonna be
it's
in a
it's not uh, it's Devin, bro. Like it's
yeah.
like what
But
you expect?
if it comes back to bite him, because Chauncey's been quiet, like he's been taking notes of things, and if he feels wronged, he might pop off on somebody in the name of him as ride or die later on. I think if it blows up in Devin's face, if
Okay, we'll see.
because also I'll tell you later on something happened at the reunion. Um, so with this plan, Amber says she's giving Devin some brownie points with this because it's obviously saving Chauncey. And they know, like I mentioned, that Nelson and Fessy would save one another. So one of them will have to be the vote, the direct vote to go in. Horacio said he doesn't care about Banana, so he's cool on voting him in. Nani said she had no issue of saying Nelson's name. Mariah did not want to say Fessy's name. And Jordan said they are on the same page, but not on the same word. They know what they kind of want to do, but they just not completely there just
Well, I feel like the plan. kind of seemed like it was consensus, but it was just like, I don't know, this may not work, or this may not work. So people were just second guessing it, honestly, and they really didn't have the in-depth conversation like Devin and Jordan had later on about really how things should play out. So I feel like everyone's like, yeah, that sounds good, but then this, but then I have my ride or die here. I do like it was just not very much thought out. But again, it's better than them having the conversation in the open as a team rather than the other team that Nelson's been dealing with for the past couple of weeks, where he feels like no one is talking to him or nobody expresses what the true actual plan is, because most of those people are only after themselves. So it's just like it seems like there's just more open communication, and they have worked with this whole episode where they're just showing like they're just better at teamwork altogether than the other team.
Yes. Um, and we get into the interrogation with the guys, and Chauncey said he's not scared to go down the zone. He doesn't tell who he would save in the draw. Then we go to bananas. Devin tells him that 7 rings is hard to ignore, but bananas leaves them with the part that said that he wanted them to take a shot at Fessy because Fessy is basically the best athlete on their team. If they want to go for a big dog, go for Fessy and not him because he's performing much better than him, and he admitted that. Like, I've not been great. Fessy has been killing these challenges.
Which is true because he took such a long break and now he's coming back. But as soon as they get Fessy out, he's the next biggest target that's on their team. So I don't even like, okay, cool, we get try to get Fessy out, but you're next. It's not like you're inexcusable or this is gonna be your get out of jail free card.
Yeah. And then we go to Nelson, and he said that he cannot change what he's done thus far in the game. He said Nani's name. He's thrown in Amber, and that's a taint on him this season, even though he's had highs. Um, and he said that Amber would love for him to save Chauncey, so that she can run the final with him. However, this one note, like in this moment, Amber is riding for her guys on her team. She loves Chauncey, loves him down. She's one of my man, my man, my man. This about him all the time. But at this point in the game, because they're on separate teams, she's wanting to keep her guys safe. She'll see Chauncey later on. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's commendable by Amber saying that, but in the back of her mind, she is rooting for Chauncey. Like,
Yeah,
I get the overall look of it and just supporting your team because, like Horacio was explaining, like if the numbers keep going down, they ain't gonna have nobody left on that team, and it's just gonna be like 3 people against 7. So Amber is right in thinking like, yeah, I have to support my team and protect the guys on my team, but girl, she been chatting about that man this whole like, come on. If it comes down to it, for sure, she's trying to root for Chauncey.
yeah. Like at the end of the day, like that is her ride or die. But just in the moment, in this situation, in her team's mind, he's off the table. So he's good for not going in. It's just a matter of the draw. And we know he's gonna be on the outs with Nelson. Like he said, like, oh, I might like Amber might want him. But he's not gonna do that because he's gonna save Fessy at first chance. That's what he's gonna do. And then we go to Fessy. And he hoped that Mariah would not say his name as his ride or die. And he said respectfully that he would whip off someone's head in elimination. That's just his pitch. That's his pitch. That's all he had to really say. Like he was ready to go in, but he was like, if whatever y'all decide, I'm gonna rip somebody's head off.
And we were that's not surprising. Who, like we know the people we're dealing with here. Like this is it.
Yeah. Um, and then Mariah said after like that she did not want to go along with the plan. because she feels like she's put in the middle because she has her ride or die. She has bananas. She don't know what to do. And I'm like, girl, you don't have to vote for Fessy. You don't have to vote for bananas. Just pin the vote on Nelson. That's fine. But with the way how the vote ended up happening, the I I was fine with it, to be honest. But other people were not. Um, and after that, Devin and Jordan had a conversation about wanting to split up the Nelson and Fessy duo, and they are leaning towards Fessy because, like mentioned, he is the best player on that team. So that's best for them. And they begin to pillow talk with Amber and Chauncey, and she tells him that he'll be fine and knows that if he goes in, he'll show out, do his best. Cool. And then we go to Fessy and Jordan have a conversation as well. And Fessy just tells Jordan, I say what I mean and I show out. Cool. Jordan tells him that he won't hear his name from him. Um, tells him he doesn't know what's going on. But Jordan knows what's going on. And he was clear, like he wasn't going to say Fessy's name at that point. However, and that was 2 hours before elimination. However, an hour later, before they have to go into elimination, Jordan's just sitting, chilling. Tori is pleading her case to him to not vote for Fessy. And she's like, I know you're the swing vote. And I just basically talking about this, whatever. And she was like, the vote will affect our relationship. And Jordan is weirded out by that immediately. Like, you're really trying to pawn out our personal relationship in this game. What? And that's why I'm like, you can't bring the personal shit into the game.
But she did. This whole season, she literally has brought their personal relationship back into the game. He has said from day one he really didn't want anything to do with her. He's glad she's here, glad you're okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's not trying to get back together with you. You decide to take it upon yourself to unhear everything he said and just jump right back in like y'all having a relationship. He ended up dealing with somebody else and your feelings got hurt. Like, and then the cherry on top is now you come back and say, oh, well, if you really love me, then you won't vote in for Fessy. Like, bro, she's not so serious. Like, Tori is like, what's going on? Bro, you really are going to tell this man, okay, you can't freaking love me. We can't have any type of relationship unless you now choose Fessy. Bro, the same man that you hooked up with, and like after you had a whole relationship with him, like, yo, this lady is insane.
Like, you don't have any other points onto why Fessy should not be his vote. You couldn't think of anything else to say, oh, don't vote in for Fessy. Try to throw in somebody else on your team. You couldn't do that. You couldn't just like say that. You just had to bring up the relationship that y'all have that's not existent at this point. Y'all are not friends. Y'all are cordial at this point. He don't want nothing to do with you. And you're sitting here in his face trying to pull this shit. No, ma'am. Are you crazy? No, you are crazy. You are. Um,
Yeah, she
it's
is.
just, girl, be so,
Yeah,
once again, be so fucking for real. Because, girl,
yeah, no. This like really just like, okay, not like I know she playing around, and I don't want to get into the relationship and like what, because this girl is just fucking annoying. Like, she's so annoying. She's so annoying. And okay, they're both annoying to be honest. Because what he pulled after the fact, freaking George Bush Jr. Like, please, I can't.
okay, so we're gonna move into his speech because we're going to the zone, and he gets the first vote for who goes into the zone. And he proceeds to say that he had every intention to play a straight up game of how he normally does. He doesn't do the scheming, the lying, the deceitfulness. He doesn't do that. But he said that somebody changed that mindset of his an hour before the elimination and said that someone tried to use a personal relationship that they had out of the game as an hostage. Okay? As a hostage. Okay? That's the word he chose to use in reference to what Tori was saying. Okay? When he said that, I'm like, oh, he's really going for the juggler right here, okay? But then he hit us with, I do not negotiate with terrorists. And when he said that, but it's funny too, because like when I watched it, it cut off after he said that, then he came back and he showed the whole thing, and it was like the drama of it all. And Tori's just standing over there. I'm like, what? Huh? Looked over at him like,
She literally started throwing a tantrum like immediately after that. But the fact that okay, this is where I had a problem with the redemption story to begin with. But now y'all bring in the whole situation that you showed earlier, and so showing him in a good light, being voluntary, being a good Samaritan, blah blah blah. Now you have him standing up there calling this girl a terrorist because she just gave you an ultimatum and you didn't like it. Again, Jordan and Tori are two in the same, but it's just like when one does something annoying, another one got to top it to be more annoying. Like y'all just battling for annoyance at this point because it's like I don't I really don't get why you would call this girl a terrorist. Like, and
it was
you're
a new
in a
for me
full
too when he
cowboy
said that.
garb. Please, please.
It was Anissa's face when he was talking. She was looking at Tori like, "What did you say to this man?"
And that he was messy for that because he exposed her conversation with him after the fact that she had it an hour ago, and they're probably like, what's going on, because we didn't know anything about this. And he literally was just like, yeah, like it was just messy, like, yeah, you came to me and said blah blah. It's just like, bro, you I need the speeches to be removed from when people are voting for each other now because they're getting out of hand, out of hand.
And so, the way I really had to pause it after he said that though, and I was just sitting here cackling, squealing, like he did not just say this on national TV in front of the cast, in front of TJ, in front of production, in front of the whole freaking world. The audacity, the man has a way of words, and he uses them with choice. I would say that. Um, and he ends up voting for Fessy. And Tori's like, why would you make it that I was the one that essentially had Fessy's fate? Well, you kind of did. You didn't have to make him give him an ultimatum. Like, you did not need to do that. And because you did that, your man's going in.
No, one thing I would say again is these two are this one and the same because she manipulated him and saying that he needed to not vote for Fessy in order to save the relationship. And then he came back and circled the block and said, well, you told me this. So basically manipulated his conversation with Fessy and putting it on her saying, well, I had a conversation with him and I wasn't going to do it. When the whole time you had a conversation behind Fessy's back and said that that was the plan, that you were going to vote him in. So I want to know what he was going to do because it's so easy for him to say now, oh, it's you who did it and I wouldn't have voted for Fessy. Were you voting for Nelson? Like, and then what?
I don't know. I don't know. But it would have made it for. It would have been interesting though to see if Nelson was the actual vote from that team. how the saving of the dagger would have been. I feel like it was still the same thing though. If Nelson was to vote, and if it went how it went this time, Fessy would still be in, probably.
Yeah.
So either way, one of them was gonna be in. So how the rest of the votes ended up: Amber voted for Nelson, Devin for Fessy, Nani for Nelson, Horacio for Fessy. So the votes right now: 3 for Fessy and 2 for Nelson. Fessy's already going in. And it comes down to Mariah's vote. Mariah said she's not saying Fessy's name. And she didn't want it to go to a tie because she didn't know what would happen if the vote went to a tie. Which I understood. I'm with her on that. I'm like, you're going, you, like, it would have probably went a different, not went a different way, but something else would have happened if she voted for Nelson. It would have been a tie. What I would have liked to see what happened? Probably. But in her case, bring a vote, I feel like was fine for her. Everybody's like, why you put a vote, burn a vote, put it on Chauncey? The team wanted him anyways. So, and she wasn't going to say his name. And she didn't want to tie. What was she supposed to do?
Mathematically, she couldn't do anything. But the fact is that she kept saying that she didn't want to say Fessy's name and she was the tiebreaker. So automatically you have to say Fessy's name. It doesn't matter.
No,
Like
she wasn't
if you
tiebreaker.
tie the
It
game
was
with
it was
but
3-2.
if you tie it, it was 3-2. And
Mm-hmm.
if she would have said Nelson's name, it would have been 3-3.
Okay.
You still Fessy is still going in.
No, she was the last vote. That's the thing. At that point, she was the last vote.
Exactly. Fessy will still Fessy went in. You trying to say Fessy and he still went in. Why wouldn't you tie it?
Oh, okay,
Like, hello? He still went in. Like, bro, I'm not understanding what she thought. Like, you're not saying his name, but you said his name. You just
okay.
tied the vote. You don't know what's happening.
And he would have still went in if and if the tied vote because they would have had someone just stand
You
on
don't know
it.
what's gonna happen with it being tied.
Yeah. But she didn't want to chance it.
There was no other chance, bro. It was 3-2. What other chance was it?
I don't.
No, exactly. Cause she really thought I just like, bro, come on now. The math ain't math. And somebody ain't doing the math right. Like, come on.
They should have made her the last vote. Someone else could have been in.
Well, they made her the last one, I guess, at that point because of the order that everyone was standing in. But I don't think that she probably thought that other people would say Nelson. Like it was the consensus was Fessy. Excuse me. The consensus was Fessy. Literally, like you already knew that your vote was not going to be Fessy. So he went in because of you, bro. You didn't tie it. You didn't do shit but said Chauncey's name. What does Chauncey have to do with this at this point?
I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, good on her for not saying his name. Didn't it makes sense? But I'm just like, I don't know how this tiebreak would have went. I don't know. That's what was throwing me
And that's
off.
the
I'm like,
chance you got to take. That's the ride or die part of it. You got to go with it
and that's where it fails
because
because they don't know
now
each other.
that's true. That's what I'm saying. Like she's making it seem like she's really his ride or die. Number one, he came to her and asked her to help him, and like she said, he didn't even have the decency to ask her when it was a girls' day. So she should have already been disassociating herself with him at that point. But she kept entertaining it, and now she's going with it and saying, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna not vote for you because you're my ride or die." Whatever, girl. Whatever. The math. The math is
Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
I think I was just annoyed that Nisa was be like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? All right. So because she burned her vote, Fessy is going into elimination. Um, if it was gonna be a deadlock, I probably would have liked to see what would have happened because we don't know, but that would have been kind of cool to see. But I don't know.
It might have been like who got the most daily wins. Then Nelson would have probably been safe.
Yeah,
He probably would have gotten like something would have happened. He would have won like the straw challenge or whatever if they went off it based like that. But you just don't know.
yeah. Um, and Fessy is mad that Mariah threw him to the wolves. Um, it is what it is at this point. It's done. But you gotta be confident in your abilities to know you're coming back. It don't matter who you're going against. You was ready to go win. Okay? You it didn't matter. So now you mad that she kind of threw you to the wolves. Okay, you big bad. You can do anything. Go ahead. You can deal with them. You got it. Um, we go to the dagger drop, and Bananas draws first. It's a blank, and Chauncey goes next. He pulls a safe dagger, and he saves Bananas. Um, point blank period. That's how it's gonna go, and it's gonna be Fessy versus Nelson and round two.
Yeah, round two of this, and I was just praying that it was not a hall brawl. Like we got a pole wrestle last week with Maurice and Amber, and I was just praying like, please, no freaking hall brawls, like, because that would have just been like too easy for things to be set up. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like when it comes to Fessy and animations, they're mostly catered to him. And this one was kind of also, but as well, because he was getting through this. This animation was called Spearheaded, where the guys will untangle chains in a cell to access 9 spears and pull them through a drywall to release the spear. And if first pull all 9 spears and place them at the finish line will win this elimination. So it's a physical one that tests their strength. Nelson, I'm sorry, he did not bode well in this at all. Like he tried his best, I'll give him that, but he started gassing out, like in the midst of it, and Fessy was just going through it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. Like once Fessy got to the door and was trying to figure out how to get the spear through the wall, I was like, okay, maybe Nelson has a chance because he's not figuring it out. But once he did, and Nelson followed right behind him, it was just pretty much Nelson trying to play catch up the whole time and trying to stay on course with Fessy. I
Yeah.
mean, he is the strongest person on that team, but I mean, it is what it is with Nelson.
Yep. Fessy got the first spirit out, first couple spirits out. It was like at one point I had the writing it like 3 to Nelson's 1, 4 to Nelson's 2. Nelson was starting to catch up a bit. I got his third one, but he was stuck on that fourth one. Then he managed to probably got that one, and then that had him stuck for a while. While he was stuck, Fessy got like 3 of them out with ease. Then Nelson finally got that fourth one out, and he was struggling on that fifth one. And on his fifth one, Fessy got that ninth one in, out and sent Nelson home once again.
At the hands of Fessy, which is poetic because he came into the season and seemed like he got back together with Fessy in terms of mending their friendship. I'm interested to see how when he goes home, what Corey says to him. I wish we would have had that phone call because Corey was in shock that they were talking. this whole season. So now the fact that Fessy and Nelson had an elimination against each other, it's like he sent you home again. I mean, interesting. But the fact is that now Nerys was still there, and I was like, he's probably gonna feel more even hurt behind that because it's like, damn.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna pull what that girl said on Johnson's show, but it's okay. Um, so now Fessy is 4-0 in eliminations. Congratulations to him. He stays in the game. Nelson tells him the best man won today, and Nelson proceeded to apologize to the TV audience, his fans, his family, um, about his performance. Yeah, he had a good start. Good start, you know. Um, just today wasn't his day. This week wasn't his week.
I mean, Nelson was performing well this season. Like he did win some daily challenges after a very long stretch of not winning any. And also, I think that he was just showing himself this season, like in with his endurance, with how he was performing. Like him and Aris were a good team. I will give Nelson that. He came in with a mindset to win, and he was on a track to do so. Now he just ran into somebody who he was going to have to run into eventually. But I think that Nelson shouldn't really like look down on himself, even though he had some moves with the whole double situation and crossing Amber and stuff like that. But there was some things that he could improve on like that. But I think physically, he did what he needed to do this season.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Like he that drought was long, long. Is like you see Nelson when he first comes in, and then it's like the SpongeBob meme, like 2 years later, 2 days that he wins something finally, yay! And then just the other aspects of the game are his crutches, and he has to build on that and learn from that. So yeah. Before he leaves though, Olivia runs down and gives him a hug and a kiss, and they have a moment, and he departs. And Fessy also says that consequences are coming back to Devin and Jordan for predicament. Elmixer, good luck, because
Yeah.
you like
Now you just have to
that's
win again.
yeah, like that's the thing with Fessy too. Like he's good at the game, cool, but when it comes to the politics, they have a one up on him. So
They just execute better because Fessy doesn't take the time out to think things through because he's always running off of trying to get himself together that it's just like it's not thought all the way through. So yeah, they have years of planning and plotting, and that's just how their mind works. It is what it is.
yeah, and at the end, Dawson comes back to the grounds. TJ tells him that Maurice was waiting for him to come, waiting for a time moment to come back in the game if he made it long enough. Um, but she comes out. They have a moment. They're officially eliminated. Um, yeah, that is how the episode ends. And yeah, I thought I would have been laughing, but I'm like, it is what it is. I'm over both of them. Nerys annoys me now, so it is what it is.
I would start singing Chris Brown. It's never the right time to say goodbye.
Cause you
See you
know
later,
we gotta
suckers.
go our separate ways.
Oh man.
um, if that is the end of the episode, we're gonna get into the tweets because there was a lot of mess. Okay, with this episode and with things coming out from the reunion, it was just a lot. But we're gonna get into the tweets for the week. First one, just reading between the lines here, but are you going to help me win on Guys Day? Sounds like code for will you throw a challenge for me? What kind of scumbag would ever do something like that? Can you guess who actually tweeted that from the season?
No. From this season?
Yeah,
I don't know.
a cast member from the season. The one riding banana. Bananas.
Hi.
He would do that too. Like, come on. Anyways, um, someone tweeted in the vein of Ariana, what are you doing here? Someone's like, Corey, what are you doing here?
No, for real. What are you doing here? Because
you should be
you
you should
can't
be
even
there.
join the show.
Then it would have been interesting to see who would have been his opposite gender ride or die though, because he's not friends with Ashley. They're not
Um,
friends.
no,
Because yeah,
I don't know.
he would have to
It
bring
depends on
someone.
who the rest of the pool that they had because they had more people that were in quarantine that we just never knew. So it
Yeah,
just depends on who they would have, thought of.
yeah. Like if only I because even though they were rivals on their first season, on Ashley's first season, then they became cool. Then Hunter fractured their friendship because he was loyal to Hunter. Now, it would have been nice if they were actually still friends to see them work together again. But it is what it is. The next tweet, where is it? The way my jaw hit the floor when Jordan dropped the "I don't negotiate with terrorists" about Tori in front of the whole cast, crew, and fan base. Because listen, that was a moment that I'm not gonna forget because that was wholly unnecessary, but it was funny.
No, I just feel like the whole setup with, again, them showing what he's been doing in other countries, and you come and with your cowboy hat and look at this girl and call her a terrorist. Please, please, please.
Yeah, no.
I can't.
Um, the next tweet. Oh no, never mind. Next, yeah, no, yes. I'm gonna go to this because this was in response to a tweet that the challenge posted themselves. Because we talked about this before we got on here, but I just wanted to bring this on air. Okay. The challenge posted Corey's talk with Nelson. Fessy got on Twitter. It said, I do not want to hear Corey's ass crying, neither when he got tossed in for talking reckless. And back and forth, Corey said, now I don't want to hear it. Here you go with that big talk. Y'all playing patty cake or we trying to get this bag? And this, like, and this, I would say, is a testament to how the Vacation Alliance and how people are being friendly this season is. Corey wasn't trying to be friends with people like that when he was here, at least. Like, he was working with people, but he kind of knew what time it was. No one knows that right now. No one is doing that this season, with the vets at least.
Well, I'm not gonna advocate for Corey coming back because Corey is whatever. Like he needs a break, but this is a voluntary break for Corey. So let's not even entertain you talking about what we doing, what we doing. You ain't doing shit because you didn't get vaccinated. So please, miss me. But anyway, Fessy jumping out around saying, "Oh, talking about how Corey shouldn't be talking." You're showing exactly who you are, bro. Because this is exactly why Corey did not want you messing with Nelson. Like, what was there to say about that conversation?
Just let it be. You don't like, yeah, that man don't like you. Move on. That's it. Move on. Last week was just about how Devin wants to be a mix of dress and bananas. That was it. Um, but we've talked about that already. And that's all the tweets on this week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just hope that coming down to it, and when people come back into the game, like I just hope that the game just shows out better than what it's turning out to be, because I'm just like not interested into seeing the same people over and over. getting the opportunity to go to the end. But we still have two rookies. I'm still holding on to Horacio. I feel like Horacio can be the one to break through. So hopefully we get something new, because the Vacation Alliance should retire. Okay, like get off of my screen for at least 3 to 7. I need y'all to do a bid right now. Do at least 3 to 7. But you already saying something?
Oh, no, I had a thought, but I was gonna say,
Um,
since word is going out that the poll for Challenge USA is gonna wants to pull people from main show who've been on CBS. Take Fessy and Casey back to y'all's show, please and thank you.
please. I would rather them go back over there than stay on the main show over here. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're going to end it here. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Duel Lines Pod. You can follow Megan's page on Twitter at Megs and Hines. You can follow my page at ace_s5. You can follow us on YouTube at Duel Lines Pod. And Happy New Year. Be safe. We'll see you guys next year. And that's all.
Bye.